In a world where change and leadership matter, there's someone truly special. Prasad Kaipa. Prasad Kaipa is remarkable in innovation, leadership, and improving things. He's been a part of Apple and co-founded the Institute of Indic Wisdom, making him a wise guide for those who want to make a positive difference. Prasad doesn't just talk about business. He talks about finding your inner strength, understanding yourself better, and handling challenging situations gracefully and kindly. Imagine having the tools to deal with life's challenges while staying true to your values. He teaches us how to lead purposefully and make the world a better place. The Institute of Indic Wisdom, co-founded by Prasad Kaipa, is on a mission to preserve, promote, and impart the timeless wisdom and values of ancient times, enabling individuals and organizations to navigate modern challenges with greater awareness, resilience, and wisdom. TALtalks cordially invites Prasad Kaipa to share his wisdom.
So my talk today is about how do you inspire change from within. To bring change outside, we need to be able to come from a place where we are able to know what's going on inside and how do we change ourselves and how do we influence other people. The Institute of Indic Wisdom is focused on inner transformation to guide outer transformation. Many times we talk about behavioral, brain-based, some of the changes, but if we were all to be able to change based on what we read, what we listen, what we talk to, then the weight loss or many of these kinds of industries would not be multi-billion dollars. We all know what to do. But how to go about changing that requires something much deeper. So, before I get into how to inspire social change with inner presence, let me start with a few questions. How many of you know when I say what is inner presence? Just raise your hand. Okay, little bit. Alright. Are you in touch with your inner presence? Any of you feel like you are in touch with what's going on inside? Some of you? Little bit. Okay. How about, how many of you pay attention to when we are in communication, when we are teaching, when we are coaching, when we are in class, when we are talking to other people in the non-profit? How many of you are in touch with our inner presence? A little bit. Okay, so that means we need to first start with the definition of what this is. Inner presence is unique manifestation of ourselves at some level. So, whether I like it or not, just like the video said, because I am working on a wisdom, I must be a wise guy, right? Like that, Prasad keeps on prasading. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I will keep on doing in my own way, with my own unique humor, with my own unique accent. I'll keep saying and doing what I'm doing. The key part is to recognize, am I trying to imitate somebody else because they are a great role model for me? Or when I look at that role model, they inspire me to be more of who I am. When I operate more of my own authentic self, then chances are whatever I do will inspire other people. So to inspire social change, first we need to know, who am I being? Where am I coming from? When we come from who we are, then we do not have to put on a show. We do not have to really prepare and say, when I am meeting this person, this donor, or this participant, I have to put on a dog and pony show. I just can be myself because my emotions, my thoughts, my feelings, my energy, everything comes from being centered in myself and operating out of my biggest strength. So first and foremost, if we want to bring change in the world, we need to recognize change begins with me. When I am doing something, people watch that And when I say something that is consistent with what I am doing, chances are they will follow it. In India, sometimes they call what we say from the head and the heart and the hands, if they are aligned, then people listen to you. If what you say is very different from what you do, chances are they will do what you do, not what you say. So the leadership opportunity is lost. So the first and foremost, to bring about social change, if we want to inspire change in other people, we need to recognize most of the time we don't know where we are coming from. When we come to this talk, when we are presenting something, when we are meeting donors, when we are meeting our customers, we pay attention to other people without recognizing what is challenging for me. Who listens to me? Who nurtures me? What am I learning? What is common in all of it? Me, 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 me. I am here to talk about you, but what gets in the talk about, or making change or inspiring other people, I am in my own way. My behavior, my words, my actions, my emotions are the one that prevent me from having a maximum impact on other people. So in some respects you might say, the state of mind in which I operate from, I speak from, will actually affect the impact I am having on the world. So the inspiration is not like a motivation. I cannot jack you up and glaze you over. That's an old-fashioned way of thinking, that somehow I can bring something in you which is not innate to me, which I am not in touch with. It's like a magnetic field, inspiration. So when there is a magnet, either you are attracted to it or you are not attracted to it. So the key part what we need to look at is, before I talk to somebody, before I do what I do in a non-profit, first and foremost is, am I coming from a chaotic place? Am I coming from a confused place? Am I coming from an anxious place? If I can actually begin to pay attention to the chaos within me and quiet myself down, then I can meet you where you are instead of having to find excuses and coming from various things that are going on. That is where the inner presence becomes extremely meaningful. When we operate from inner presence, we can create what is called an enlivening field. Like something which you might want to think about as a non-profit leader is, when somebody comes to meet you, are they coming with more energy? After you are done talking to them, do they have more energy? Chances are, each time they come and talk to you, or I give a talk, you have less energy than you have come up with. You are probably one of those vampire kind, not necessarily the inspiring kind. You might want to look at, am I enlivening people? Second one is, am I coherent? So to a certain extent, when I am inspiring change in you, I am being changed by you as much as you are being changed by me. There is a coherence, there is a, certain times they use the word resonance in physics. So like for example, a musical instrument, a guitar, if I tune it to a particular frequency, if there is another guitar that is also tuned to the same frequency, as I am tuning this, other one will also resonate. That is inspiration. So to a certain extent, when you are actually talking to your customer or a donor or somebody else, you might want to look at it and say, what frequency am I actually coming from? Where am I tuned? If I am not tuned to you, then my emotions, they become like in brain research, they talk about mirror neurons. So where I am coming from, other people will also resonate with that. That is why, by the way, some of the words that I have used, Dharma and Dhyana, because I am researching on ancient wisdom and bringing it into management, this is what is called field of Dharma. What is the ethical field in which I am operating from? What is the meditative state am I coming from? Those are the words that I am meaning there. Then comes ultimately, how do you know what is the metric? What is one metric you can say you have been able to bring change in other people? At some level, they are in a place of happiness. You are in a place of happiness because this meeting happened. At the end of it, they feel enriched by you. They feel connected to you. They feel they have more ideas, more energy than when before they come to meet you. When energy, enthusiasm and innovation comes out of other people and also out of you, then you have done what is called a co-creation. I listen to you, you listen to me, and together we are going away with more ideas. So to a certain extent, all of the words I have used, if you notice, are connected with emotions. So to a certain extent, if you want to know more about your inner presence, pay attention to your emotions and where are they, how are other people reacting, because that will tell the state of mind. There is a wonderful image I picked up from a gentleman called Kevin Zachary. He talks about what's happening in the brain, amygdala, and what it is. But the key part, what the image says is, emotional stimulus leads to emotional response. There is something called amygdala, anxiety. There is a lot of stuff that happens. But even though many of the neuroscientists believe that emotions and feelings arise at a brain, what I found is emotions can be defined as energy in motion, emotion. Essentially, it is our energy that actually results in what you might call generating from your body, generating with your breath, but when they are recognized, that's what is called cognized by the brain. When the brain recognizes emotion, emotion becomes a feeling. So to a certain extent, our emotions are coming from our body and our breath. So for example, in India, they talk about 9 emotions. If you have watched any of the Indian dances or any of them, the eyes, in internet there is a wonderful small video that is going around. That person's dance is only through his eyes. His entire expression is through the eyes. He has a mask and you can't see anything other than the eyes, but you can actually feel a lot. The idea of, by the way, the word they use for emotions in India is called rasa. Rasa means flow of energy. So the neurotransmitters, when we talk about serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, adrenaline, all of these are connected with certain emotions. Any of you have seen the movie Inside Out, that Pixar movie? That's a very nice one, right? That's all about emotions. But what is interesting is, in the West, we only talk about 5 emotions. So the 4 emotions which are in yellow, the courage is not considered to be an emotion in the West. Wonderment is an emotion. Love is an emotion. And equanimity or state of mind, the peaceful state of mind, are not necessarily considered to be the emotions in the West. But in the ancient wisdom, whether you take Indic wisdom, whether you take Aborigine wisdom, if you look at some of these are a lot more that can be expressed. Now I just want you to leave you with a couple of things. For a moment, if you pay attention to your body, can you indicate where your emotions, experiences and tensions are experienced in you? Can you tell me, like, when you feel upset, where do you feel? Anybody know? Where do you, I'm not talking about generic, I'm not talking about what books say, but where do you feel certain emotions, like fear? Where do you feel your fear? Yeah, okay. Where do you feel the love? Heart. Interesting, isn't it? You feel the fear in the same place, you feel the love in the same place. How do you know the difference? So there is a subtlety in there. Similarly, some people feel wonderment in a completely different place. So you might also want to notice, when you are afraid, are you breathing like, wonderful? Or when you are breathing in, you hold your breath. When you are in love, when you feel like you are with somebody, it becomes effortless. When you are tense, breath becomes like a staccato, like small, quick response. So, paying attention to your body, paying attention to your breath, you can actually, before you inspire, when you are in a client meeting, when you are with a donor meeting, you can actually begin to sense the state of mind where you are in. Key point which I am saying is, if you want to inspire people, keep paying attention to what mind space am I coming from. Then, one quick trick I have for you can take away when you inspire this. You can actually practice it throughout the day through other talks as well. There are two things which we need to pay attention to. One is expression. What are we expressing through our emotions, our facial expressions, through our words, through our gestures, body language. Second is, how is it being received? I am talking to you in front of everybody, and as based on your facial expressions, your gestures, your nods, or what you are saying, what you are doing is giving me a feedback. So to a certain extent, there is no talk that will be inspiring unless I take into account the listener, and actually there is a resonance or a dynamic between you and me. If I try to keep giving talk after talk without paying attention to any of you, instead of inspiring, it only generates perspiration for me and probably desperation for you. So the key part is you need to know where you are. Most important, especially in a non-profit space, is we need somebody to nurture us. And most importantly, when somebody comes to you, whether you talk to a donor, whether you talk to a customer, or you talk to a person whom you are serving and helping, figure out how can I nurture them? How can I hold them in a safe space? How can I hold them in a kind space? How can I hold them in a supportive space? If you can pay attention to that consciously, not unconsciously, if you can do that, then chances are, first, you will calm them down. You will get them to a powerful state of mind. Second, you might also want to look at it and say, who are challenging me? And what am I challenging others? This is the place for growth. Most importantly, if I challenge you before I nurture you, you won't even listen to me. I look at it and say, wait a minute, whatever you are saying, first you didn't even listen to me and you are challenging me, it is not very effective. You might want to look at it and say, the challenge is about actually creating a negative emotion, saying that you are inadequate, you are not meeting my expectations. That's what you are telling. Is that what will inspire people? You might want to think about it. The third one is, what are you searching for? You are in non-profit because you want to make a difference. The purpose, meaning, passion that you have, like Tej mentioned earlier about the old people, or about SDG goals, or about children, or about education. When you are trying to talk to them, why is that you want to do? Why is that this particular segment you want to serve in your non-profit? You might want to think about what connects you at your heart level so that you can make a difference to that particular group of people. Like when you say you want to work with education, why? You need to know a lot more. Out of all this, if you can help people to learn, how do you help other people to learn? Show your learning. What are you learning? What am I learning from you? What am I getting from you? If I can learn from you, chances are you will not only learn from me, sometimes you might even be inspired by me. So the key part is, just because you are a founder, you are a teacher, you are a coach, you are the CEO, doesn't necessarily mean you cannot learn from children or old people or your clients. The key important part is my learning inspires your learning. So if I am in a state of mind where I am learning from you, chances are not only you will learn from me, both of us will go inspired. Inspiration is like a grenade. Wherever the inspiration explodes, everybody around it explodes. It is not like I am inspiring you. Inspiration is a field in which we'll both operate. So you might want to think about when you do whatever you do in your non-profit, or you teach, you coach, you learn, you heal, where am I being nurtured and where am I nurturing? How do I feel my inner presence in that nurturing space? And finally, how do other people feel who I truly am and how is my inner presence affecting them? Because my words, my concepts, my models don't mean very much. Most of the times what people get is, where am I coming from? Am I in a caring place? Do I care about you? Do I listen to you? If you can just affect that and pay attention to that, then this inner state of mind will create a coherence. Not just a coherence in them, it becomes a co-creative process. You will both learn from each other. So this is small segment. In Bay Area we are doing a big program in November, but the key part I want to leave you with is inspiration is an inside-out act. More when you do something not as a chore, not as this is the way you have to do it, but if you can come from a place, I am inspired, will you join me? Are you inspired to do the same thing? Then you will notice even the person whom you went to help, a person who does not have any money at all, and you went there to give some money to support them, actually the first thing that the old person might do is, oh, you came to my house, I really appreciate. By the way, here is the banana I have, that's all I have. I was about to eat breakfast. Would you like to share it with me? Yeah. When you got that, I think you connected. When you feel that, you are inspired. When you do that, you have actually started the change, and that change began with two of you. And when change begins with two of you, it will spread all around, because you are the heart, you are the spirit that will make it shine. So go out and make the world shine, and may the social change begin with you, and all the best to you. Thank you.